Decoding the Bible, we're going to discuss the Greek connection with Aristotle and his 5 elements. Most people might not know it, but the New Testament was written in Koine Greek. In order to understand the Aristotle connection, let's go to Wikipedia. We can see from this screenshot that this Latin will is based on Aristotle's elements. This elemental will is not as complex as it seems. We are only going to briefly break down the parts that are important for the story. Starting from the top and going clockwise, we see the first 4 elements: fire, air, water, earth. They make up a cross, and that is not an accident. Notice the center of the cross is the 5th element, the spirit. The example of the will is if you plant a seed in the earth and pour water on it, it will reach into the air where the sun will kiss it with fire and breathe life into it. Moses was put into a basket, there's your earth. He was then put into the water. When he grew up, he went up high into the mountains, there's your air, where he talked to a burning bush which was on fire and received the Holy Spirit. First is our Old Testament example. The verse starts with the mist comes into the earth to water it. Already we have 2 elements mentioned, followed by the act of watering the earth, just like our seed example. Third is breathing life into his nostrils. There's the air connection. And then man becoming a living soul. That is the fire. So 4 elements total in the Old Testament example. We will see the 5th element later attributed to Christ. Matthew chapter 3, 10 verse 16 is our New Testament example of Aristotle's elements. Here we are talking about the baptism of Jesus Christ. We find each element in order, starting in verse 10 with root of the trees, symbolizing the earth element. Verse 11, baptize you with water, is obvious. Verse 12, fan in his hand, signifies the air element. And at the bottom of the same verse is the unquenchable fire, signifying the fire element, the soul inside all of us that forever burns, never to be put out. Verse 16 is Spirit of God descending like a dove. ChatGTP breaks down each element. Earth represents your physical body, as well as that lower carnal state. Next is the water element. This represents your emotions and your subconscious mind. A good example is Jesus walking on water. This signifies that he has risen above his emotional state. He no longer drowns in the depths of emotional despair. This is an important element to overcome. Next is the air element, where you meet with and communicate with God. Jesus himself tells us to meet him in the air. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16 and 17. I don't know about you, but I plan on meeting Jesus in the air through meditation. Once you're in communication with God, he then lights that unquenchable fire and you are reborn with the Holy Spirit, which is the 5th element.